Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And my baby sister's back with me today. Hello, Merethah.
Hello.
We
Hello.
have you back. And Reedy is working. Clee is working today. These holiday seasons and that work picks up. So she's working today. And Eula is planning to be with us on Thursday, God willing. So today she has a funeral to attend, and then tomorrow she has a funeral to attend, and that's the funeral of our cousin, her brother Clarence's wife, Della. It's Della's mother's funeral, so we're praying for the families,
Yes.
each of the families, and I've already sent my condolences to Della. So those things, life is coming and it's going, and so we just have to take it as it goes. And we're thankful to God for what He has given us right now, and thankful for the strength and life, health, strength, everything He's given us. It's
Yep.
just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I think I need to turn this light on because on the TV it looks dark. So let me turn the light on.
Oh, it was
So,
fine.
so anyway, I don't know whether it made a difference or not, but I turned it on. Okay, the TV is behind the computer. But so today, Merethah, what is your topic?
Our topic is be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. Okie dokie. We'll be sure to be careful what we wish for. And mine is there's two questions. One is time to go, and why do some people wear out their welcome? And this is what came to mind. And so I just thank God for giving us these great topics because we know things, holiday season, we have visitors and we go and visit. So we need to know, and like even when I travel, look, Marie, I'm going to turn it into your hands.
No,
I'm going to
go
get
right
you
ahead. It's
more.
okay. Go right ahead. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, no, go ahead. I'll get it mine later because I'll start talking. Go ahead.
All right.
Shake
So,
hands with my sister.
my topic is from Psychology Today. It's by Denise Foreigner, uh, Foreigner, PhD, and it's be careful what you wish for. Focusing on what we want and can be adaptive, but to what end, And this is what she wrote. It says, I've recently visited a primary school and noticed an array of students' assignments lining the school main hallway attached by bright colors and creative handwriting. I decided to take a closer look. What I saw was a collective of students' answers to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I smiled as I read some of the kids' responses, predictable ones like a doctor, astronaut, along with some of the surprises like an aeronautical engineer, a toothpaste inventor. As much as I enjoyed seeing the fun stuff these kids came up with, I couldn't help but feel a bit troubled by the whole thing. Of course, getting kids to think about what they want to be sparks creativity and imagination. It plants a seed of inspiration, inviting them to think about the future and considers what's possible. But as a therapist who spent a lot of time working with disillusioned, distressed, and disappointed adults, I can't help but see the other side of the well-intentioned thought exercise. It sets a tone for the life spent wishing and wanting. Now, before you deem me cynical and stop reading, hear me out. As I mentioned before, I appreciate the value of thinking about what we want for the future. If we don't give it any other thought whatsoever, we end up aimless with no clear sense of direction for our lives. But at a certain point, we act we act of wanting can become damaging. Research in the field positive psychology has demonstrated that the more we want, the more dissatisfied and happy we tend to be. And we don't really need a bunch of fancy studies to tell us this is the case. If you ever invested time and energy into wanting a bigger house, a better job, or more compassionate spouse, you felt the sting of not having those things now. Think about it. Think about what you want. Will we naturally invite thoughts about what's lacking in this? Of course, it is an obvious downer. Furthermore, Since wishing and wanting tend to be future focused, they pull us out of the present moment, robbing us of the ability to be satisfied with what is. So, thinking about what we want sometimes get us depressed about what we really have. We need to be appreciative right now for what we have. Okay? That's basically what she's saying. If
Mm-hmm.
you read any of my previous blog posts, you've already know how vital present moment awareness and satisfaction are to our overall well-being. So
Mm-hmm.
while wanting is natural and somewhat necessary of our lives, we have to be aware that this is practical pitfall. Another issue that occurs when we focus on what we want is that we fail to consider the many implications associated with getting it. The expression, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it, applies perfectly here. There's a reason many lottery winners wind up depressed, broke, or suicidal. We might have a clear idea of what we want, but if we don't consider how our lives will change when we get it, we could end up less happy than when we started.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I lost my place.
That's okay.
I apologize. Hold on. Than when we started. Okay. Once I worked with a client who spent most of their professional life focused on retirement. She wanted to get there so badly for so long that it shaped her life and influenced many of her choices. When we started working together, it had been 8 months since she retired, and she was completely miserable. She explained to me that in all the years of rushing toward retirement, she never considered what her life would be like once she got there. With tears flowing, she said, "This is about her experience. It never occurred to me that once I got to this point in my life, my parents would be dead. I'd be too tired to do the traveling. I'd be put off until now. And I wouldn't have any hobbies to keep me busy and keep my mind quiet. There is nothing at all like I thought it would be." So she did all this planning and planning. I want to retire. I want to retire. I want to. And once she got there, everything that she cared about was gone. She never thought about what she would do once she got there. She just wanted to get there. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn a great deal from the examples of people like my client who suffer from the result of getting what they once wanted. If you aren't careful, getting what we want could be a recipe for disaster. Above all else, the biggest reason to be mindful of what we wish for is that we are prone to believe we'll be happier once we acquire what we desire. Social science research have proven that thinking this way is a setup because the more we get, the more we want. We believe that getting what we wish for will be the answer to all our problems, granting us lifelong joy and satisfaction. But happiness happens to be an inside job. Without knowing how to cultivate it internally for ourselves, no amount of money or external rewards will allow us to experience or maintain it. No matter what you have, you always want more. You know what they say? I get the big house. I want the Mercedes. I want the this. I want the that. But once you get the big house, then you want a bigger house. Once you get the Mercedes, then you want a Lamborghini. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. All right. So consider this at another point of caution I mentioned earlier. It's easy to wonder whether wishing what you want is worth the risk. But let me assure you, there's some more good news here than those willing to take heed. Despite the potential dangers associated with wanting, there is a way to utilize it in order to enrich our lives without suffering from all the unintended, messy side effects. First, and most importantly, we have to be clear that getting what we want is not a guaranteed solution to our problems. We aren't going to reach some utopian state of bliss when desires manifest. Life simply doesn't work that way. Optimal wanting starts with generating this important awareness. Just because you get it, don't mean you're happy with it. We always want to have him, I'd be happy. You may get him, but he may be an abuser. You may get him, but he may not work. and you got to go out there and work. Things don't always, just because grass looks greener on the side of the fence, you still got to mow it. You still got to water. You still got to trim it. Everything still has to be put in its place. So we still got to go on. All right. Optimal wanting starts with generating important awareness. If happiness is what we are after, and most of it is, we're wise to focus on what we have to cultivate right here and now before we
Mhm.
brought the yacht backpack to Europe or married our one true love. Life always happened in the present moment. So it's important for us to realize that while we wish, want, dream, and fantasize, our real lives are taking place. For me, there's nothing more terrifying than the process of reaching the end of my life and realizing that I missed out on all of it because I was too busy thinking about what I wanted instead of appreciating on what I have. Don't let this happen to you. Set goals for your life. And by all means, get intentional about going after them. But everything you hope to feel when you get what you wish for is available
Mhm.
in the right here and now.
That's right.
Appreciate what you have now. Love the people you have in your life now.
Right.
You don't know what goes on in those big old houses when those people close their doors. You don't know what's in that other room. Yeah, you may walk into that front room and there's all this big furniture and there's all this, chandelier and that's this and that's that. But you don't know what's behind those other doors. You know, you don't know what they're eating when you're not there. You don't know what they're putting on when you leave. Just because they step out that door dressed to the nines, don't mean when they come in they don't put on a pair of holy pants and a raggedy t-shirt because that's all they have when they leave because they sacrificed everything else that they have to put up this front for everybody else outside, you know? So be thankful for what you got because if I had this, if I had that. Well, yeah, we all say that. I've said it, I've done it, I wish for it. But that doesn't mean my life is going to be more complete. That's just going to put another set of problems in my life because I wouldn't know who to trust. The people that I could trust would be the people closest to me, my sisters, you know, and my closest nieces and nephews, and people that I know would hopefully wouldn't, take advantage of it. And that's what these people don't know who to trust. They can never have a really true friend because they don't know what they want from them. They're always looking out because they think somebody wants what they have because they
Mhm.
don't know. And they can never truly, really be happy because they've got to stay on guard all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So be careful what you wish for. Those law, just like you said about y'all know y'all watch those shows about the lottery winners who's had all this money and all this money and all this money, and then in a year it's gone because they didn't know what to do with it. People coming out of the woodwork asking them for money, people killing them for their money, and you just have to be
Mhm.
careful what you wish for. And if you do come across that blessing, because it is a blessing most of the time it is a blessing, but you have to be, you still have to be cautious and believe me, God will put the people in place in your life to help you through this. You
Oh
have to
yes.
listen to him because he will set it up for you. Okay, before you go out there publicize it, I would get it all set up to where you know where it's going and where it'll go where you need it to go. Set it up the way you want it to go so you don't have to worry about that. And then maybe you can be happy, because that's what I plan on doing when I win. Because I'm going to win. Be able to take care of things. But just be careful what you wish for because Lord knows I'm being careful what I wish for because and what I ask for. And then what you ask for, you have to ask it in Jesus' name so it'll be blessed. Don't just go out to, ooh, I wish I had. Don't ever curse anybody else's stuff either. She don't need that. She don't need to have that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, she got that. Oh, bless her heart. If she gets something better, I wish I had, Don't never curse anybody else's stuff. Because cursing them, you're cursing yourself. You dig one hole, you might as well dig two. So be careful what you wish for. And don't wish
Mhm.
bad on nobody else. Because dig one hole, dig two. Point one finger, three are pointing back at you. So be careful what you wish for. I'm done.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great. Great. Be careful what you wish for. Yes. Be careful what you wish for. I tell you. So that's a great one. That you were saying something of like you're looking so far, is it so far ahead
Uh huh.
till you miss what's in front of you.
Uh
And I
huh.
was looking for my because you know when I'm watching television or I'm listening to something or reading something,
Uh huh.
and these quotes come and they grab my attention.
Uh
And
huh.
so there was a quote you were talking about that, and this quote that I have in my little books now. They usually are in my journal, but now I guess they're over there somewhere. But anyway, in one of them it says that you're so busy looking ahead till you miss what's right in front
In
of you. So
front of
you're too so busy looking far ahead.
you.
What am
Mm-hmm.
I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do the
Uh
next
huh.
day? So you're missing out on everything that's happening right
Right in.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And because all we have is right
Right
now,
now.
right now. That's all we have. That was
Yeah.
wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful.
Oh.
Oh yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So mine is, I'm always, and I said I like that was saying we she was saying, ask God in the name of Jesus. So we can't. I feel that if I cannot leave asking God for topics out. He has to guide me and give me. This is a holiday season too. And we know people will be traveling,
Uh huh.
they'll be visiting people and everything. So, what is the limitation on the visits? How long are we supposed to stay somewhere? And me, I would rather. I love visiting, and I stay with my sisters. But when I go places, I would rather. I don't like to be on someone. I don't and feel like I don't want someone to have to adjust their schedule to mine. I don't want people to have to rearrange things for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can afford to stay in a hotel when I go somewhere, I will. But like I said, I stay with my with you and Clea.
Mm-hmm.
If I come and visit you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, when is it? Talking about when do people wear out welcome? When is it time to go? And so we're going to talk about that. And what is it said? Why do people wear out welcome? People who overstay their welcome. People who overstay their welcome. Say, I have this one friend, and I'm not going to say these words this person put in here. So I have this one friend that no matter how long we've been hanging out for or how late it is, they will not go home. It's so annoying because every time I hang out with them, I tend to lose a lot of sleep because they will stay till the crack of dawn. And we all know people like that. And hopefully we're not one of those people. And so this came to me because it's holiday time, and then some people, how long do you stay at a person's house? Now my or visit, my thing is even when I'm going to a convention, conference, and I have my room, and usually it's like 7 days. The third day, I am ready to get out of there. The third day, usually the third day, and to me, it seems like the third, you know, 3 days is enough for me. That's the way it seems to me. And so, why do people always say welcome? Here's one thing from Medium.com said it because we allow them to. Said is when people walk all over us and do something disrespectful like overstay their welcome, it is because we allow them to. The people in our lives only treat us as well or as badly as we demand, something which is determined by our self esteem and personal regard. And so I have a article here. This is medium.com. And this was, let me see, Reddit, Reddit. And then that part, because we allow the medium.com. So I have this piece here from medium.com, and it wants to, how do you tell people it's time to go? Because some people, they will give you a guilt trip, try to give you a guilt trip. People guilt trips when they, if people don't know what to say. People have lives. They have lives, and most have families, and they have their schedules. They have their own time frame, their own time for doing this and that and the other. They might have special things to do and all of that. And then some people go and just and stay, and they say, "Oh, don't mind me, don't mind me. You just go and do whatever you got to do, and I'll just be here." And people don't want to leave people. They want everybody to be included. So then when the person does that and overstays their welcome, then that puts a burden on the family, because everybody has their own set of rules. They have their own space, and they want their own space. People, the thing about me is, if I go somewhere, I want them to be happy to see me and sad to see me go, but look forward to me coming back. That's the way I want to do it. I want to do it. So I don't ever want to be a burden. And then when people come and stay on us, then we want to know, okay, okay, now how do we do this? How do we do this? So during the holiday time and everything, we know people come and visit, and so some just stay, some just try to take over the house and do different things. You just don't know what to do, what to say, and everything. So here you are, uncomfortable, getting on edge, and all of that. And people need their own space, their own privacy. Now, I'm not talking about if a person doesn't have a place to live or whatever like that. We all, as families, we all make provisions for each other. If I didn't have somewhere to live, you'd make room for me. Cleve would make room for me, but my children would make room for me, so I wouldn't even have to worry about that. But then, that's different situations. But just to be going and just, you know, like some people come and you'd be surprised. They surprise you, and you say, "Oh, and what else are you gonna do?" All right, come on in, and you think they coming like somebody told me one time that this person, this is for real. A person showed up at their house. I think the person was in a taxi. They had no dealings with this person, but they just knew of the person who she was
Uh-huh.
related to at the time that she was there. But then she
Uh-huh.
shows up at their house and then wants to just put, well, can I just put these bags here with a suitcase?
Oh my.
And do you know, I was told that that person stayed there at that house, intended to stay there, didn't
And
ask,
didn't know them? They didn't
up,
know her?
they don't have a relationship or anything, just barged in on them. So,
Wow.
what do you do when these things happen? And even when people come, people should know. Common sense would tell people, because if people have their own home, they know how long, when people, because some people come, you need your time, and when are they wearing out welcome? And so I thank God I've never had to deal with anything like that. I've never had to, and I hope I haven't stayed with anybody so long to they wanted me to go. I don't think, because I don't, when I go somewhere, I don't stay that long. So anyway, like I say, 3 days is long enough. When I say 3 days, it's time to get some yonder. So this is by E.B. Johnson, March 28th, 2019. This is medium.com. And she's going to talk about, this person's going to talk about how do uh, tell a person, it's time to go. How do you tactfully tell a person, like that other guy that was talking, he used those F words, and I wasn't going to say that. Excuse me, I am feeling so much better, but I still, cough, especially when I
Yeah.
laugh, because I like to laugh, so I do cough.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just so thankful to God that I do feel better. And like I was telling you, that I went out today. Of course, I keep my mask on and everything, and I don't have any fever. I don't have any no infection. I think it's a
Mhm.
sinusitis, inflammation of sinus. So anyway, I went out today and I did really well. So didn't stay out long. But this is BuzzFeed.com. 10 signs you definitely overstayed your welcome. Sometimes you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We've seen that in a movie. So you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here.
But you got to get the H out of here.
So get an adrenaline filled dose of the ultimate unruly house guest in The Guest. That's a movie. I haven't seen it. Now playing in theaters everywhere, and that was in
What
2019.
is it?
Who was it? A movie called The Guest. And so,
I haven't
anyway, so
seen.
now we go. So, be one of the first to comment on this if you want to. And so, I had said I was going to have people call in today so we could put them on online and they could talk. But I think we're
Uh-huh.
going to wait until the first of the year to do that,
Okay.
because people do reply and respond to us on in the
Yeah.
messages. And we thank you so much. Thank you everybody for being with us today. Thank you so much. So, if you have any problems like this, here's a way to solve them. uh, so it's a number one. What is this? Signs you've definitely overstayed your welcome. So this is for a person maybe if they've overstayed, and so because some people are so family oriented, and some people really might not know that they're overstaying their welcome. They might not know. So here's how you can tell. They start telling you to buy the groceries, and I don't think anyone in our family would go and stay on a person and not help, with groceries, and we tell no, 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 and we just go right ahead anyway. Well, here, take this on this or get this or whatever. We contribute when we're staying, whether it's 1 or 2, 3 days. We do that because that's the way mom and daddy raised us. And mom and daddy, they didn't let us go and stay places a long time anyway, except when we went down home to stay with grandma and papa and Mully and Mr. Jimmy. We would stay 2 weeks at a time. Okay, so number one, they start telling you to buy the groceries. Number two, they send you links to great deals on flights home. They stop laughing at all your jokes. They pack your luggage for you every morning.
Oh wow.
They change the locks without telling you. And this is oh Tumblr dot for gifts.com. Okay, for gifs, I guess. Number six, they have hushed conversations that stop when you enter the room. Number seven, their Netflix recommendations cater to your tastes instead of theirs. Number eight, they put a padlock on the refrigerator.
Dang.
Number nine, they casually point out nearby hotels. Number 10, and they drop very subtle hints by saying things like, get out of my house. And why are you still here? And some people are so slick. They will say things like that. And then some people might
Uh-huh.
not catch that, but they really mean that, you know.
Uh-huh.
So if you think you may have overstayed your welcome, don't take any advice from Dan Stevens in The Guest, which it was now then playing in theaters. Okay, now let me go back up here and talk about this. This is from, let me get it here. I'm scrolling back up. It's E.B. Johnson, and this is, what is it? Medium.com. And like I said, this is written in March 28th, 2019. Well, it was released. The most tactful ways to let someone know they've overstayed their welcome. I don't know whether
Oh, okay.
I don't know who this is for, but when it comes to me, when I present these, I'm teaching myself as well as everybody else. I'm teaching myself and I'm learning things as well as relaying information to everybody else. So I can use these things too. So if I go somewhere and I ought to have enough sense to know when I've overstayed my welcome by not overstaying the welcome, so that that situation would come up anyway. And so that's what I try to do. And so it even goes with your personalities and things. And I won't go off into that either, because it depends on what kind of personality you have. What type of person you are and the personality trait you have. So the most tactful ways to let someone know they've overstayed their welcome. Don't let the clinger linger. Learn the best ways to deal with guests that overstay their welcome. Okay, sometimes being a gracious host can come back to bite you in the backside. While having a guest for a few days can be lovely at first, there can come a point when enough is enough. Having a house guest is a major disruptor, but saying so is a difficult thing to manage. We don't want to hurt the feelings of our friends and visitors, but we also want the solitude of our personal space back. And see, that's what people, I don't know, some people may not realize that, but then I don't know, but this is a great article. So telling your guests that they've been with you too long is awkward, but there are a few cues you can use to indicate you're ready for a change of scenery when the time has come. All it takes is a little practice and a little know how. You can have your space back in no time, but it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease and a little backbone. Yes, and that's what a lot of people, they don't want to hurt people's feelings, but then people that overstay and infringe on people's time and everything, they don't realize that sometimes they try to give a guilt trip, put a guilt trip on the host and give them a sad story. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want this. I don't want this. If I go home, I'm just going to do this and I'm just going to do that and all this kind of stuff. And then they have the host feeling guilty, but the host wants their home back. You understand what I'm saying? And so,
Hmm.
the abstract stuff, this is while it might be tempting to jump into the nitty gritty of the solid tactics you can use to oust that overstayer, let's talk a little bit about the concepts you need to get a hold of first: boundaries, limitations, and respect. Because if people have respect for you, they're going to do their best not to infringe on your time and to just take over your space and encroach your boundaries and all of that. People have to be considerate, and that's why there's the scriptures that do unto others as you would them do unto you. Now, would I want this to happen to me, or would I do this to somebody? We have to think in different realms and think in different areas. But most of all, it comes to what would I want someone? How would I want them to treat me? How would I want them to treat me? Okay? So, boundaries, limitations, and self respect. Before you can go about setting boundaries for your guests, you need to take some time to look inside and reassess your own personal boundaries, limitations, and self respect. And see, that's what I was just saying. So that sounds a bit hot. It is. When people walk all over us and do something disrespectful, like overstay their welcome, it is because we allow them to. The people in our lives only treat us as well or as badly as we demand, something which is determined by our self esteem and personal regard. Respecting ourselves means setting clearly defined boundaries that the people around you know to stick to. Disrespecting yourself, well, that's when you end up with a permanent couch surfer. Before you can kick that bum off your couch, you've got to kick that bum out of your head. If someone is taking advantage of you, it is because you've given some kind of signal to the world that you'll allow that, because you don't value yourself. And then I was thinking as I was studying this and as I was going about my morning and and these thoughts were coming into my mind. And so if a person has the privilege and has the freedom to do what they want, if they can go and stay here for this long and that, there's a whole wide world out here that people can explore when they have that time and they have the resources. They can explore and not just sit in one place all the time because there's a whole big world out here that they could take advantage of and go and see so many different things. And these things were coming into my mind. So before you can kick that bum off your couch, you got to kick that bum out of your head. So practice building up your self-esteem and realize that your space is your space, and people should not, and it's hard because we're kind-hearted people and everything, but then you have to have those boundaries. You have to have those rules. You don't mind people coming to stay with you, that you know that you don't mind people coming to stay with you, but you don't want them to come and stay forever, do
Yep.
you?
Nope.
And so people should have boundaries, and then people should stick to those boundaries. So no one has the right to compromise the sanctity of your personal space, and you have more right to its privacy than anyone else in the world. After all, you pay the bills.
Yep.
To learn to stand up for yourself because you love that person or the person that you are on the inside, and you deserve to be treated well, and you do. It's a miserable thing to be miserable in your own home.
Home. Yep.
And then one thing I got from mom and daddy: never make a person, and see, I guess this is where we might have inhibitions. Never ever make a person feel uncomfortable in your
Uncomfortable in
home.
our own home.
In your home too. If someone
Yep.
comes to visit, be as
Yep.
kind to them, because the worst thing to do is be out of your realm and
Yep.
then you're in somebody else's area and then you don't feel comfortable in that area.
Yep.
That's a lot of
Yep.
stress. So retrospectives and intentions. And what I'm talking about today is a time to go and why some people were out there welcome. And there could be some things, like I was saying, some people don't want to be alone and everything. But like I said, there's a whole big world out here. There's so much to see, so much to take
Yep.
in, so many experiences. So, retrospectives and intentions. Remembering first to honor yourself. Always consider the full perspective of your situation and the situation of your guest.
Yep.
Your reasons for wanting your space back are valid, no matter what. But consider the situation of your guest fully and make sure that in asking them to leave, your intention is still a good one. Wasn't I just talking about that?
Yep.
Consider a time when you needed help. Here we go. And consider the needs of your friend or your family member, whoever it might be. If you can offer them a different form of help while facilitating them to leave your space, do so and make sure they know that your intention is a good one, because some people can be so hateful and so
Mm-hmm.
mean to people. You got to go. It's time for
Yep.
you to go. You
Yep.
got to get out of here. You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can be so mean and hurt people. And many times people don't tell you the situation. And sometimes people will go and visit and they won't tell you before they, and I think it's rude to just show up, just
Yep.
show up. Oh,
Yep.
I came to stay. I'm gonna stay here, and then they don't know how long the person's gonna stay or whatever. They're just playing it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
Just playing it by ear. So when we set our intentions and consider our current experience against experiences of our past, we can often come to find compassionate solutions that work across multiple planes. Remember yourself and remember your intentions at all times. And like I was going to say, some people, they're so proud. And we know people that have had this, and you were talking about that earlier. People that, people go out every time you see them, they're dressed to the, you say, to the nines,
Hmm.
and they have this on and that on and everything. And then we don't know when that person might, their level of income and their prosperity might dwindle.
Hmm.
And then they might come, it could be a family member or a friend, somebody that trusts you, but they might not tell you the situation
Yep.
because they're ashamed to. But once they get there and they've been there a day or so, then hopefully they will tell the situation, and that will give a person a chance to try to get some resources from where it has to be, from
Yep.
the state or from the city or whatever, to try to get that person settled and try to help them out as much as they can. So
Yep.
this, we have to have compassion for one another. We have to have compassion because we don't know what state, what frame of mind a person is
It's
in.
in.
We just don't
Yep.
know what's going on. And so depending on whether we treat them in a positive way or
Or
negative, whether
negative.
we have treat them with love and kindness, or we're
Yep.
sharp and cold to them, that could just break their whole cycle of
Yep.
hope.
Yep.
It could. So
Yep.
learning how and when to speak. This is great. This is great. Your intent might be set and your boundaries might be firm, but the next steps will come to nothing if you don't know how and when to use your voice.
Yep.
Speaking up for our needs can be hard, but it is one of the most rewarding life skills we will ever learn. It is a skill, though, and that means that it takes time, effort, and commitment to master. We often find it easy to speak up for the needs of others, but find it hard to speak up for our own needs. And that is so true. That
Yep.
is so true.
It's
I
easier to
remember
take up for someone else than it is to take up for yourself.
it's, well, yeah, that's what it's saying. Uh-huh. To let somebody just run over you than to speak up
Hmm.
for yourself.
Hmm.
Yep, yourself. And I remember times that I've just people have, even though I didn't want to do it to keep from hurting somebody's feelings, I would go ahead and do it. But now I don't have a problem with saying no. No, I don't. So
They know.
when we do speak up, it is often far too late when the moment is lost in an explosion of emotion that is either related or unrelated. And that is so true because those emotions can build up, that tension
Yep.
can build up, and one thing could happen, and then you just go off on the person.
It's like a volcano inside you.
An eruption.
Depression.
Did
Yep.
you mention that just a few minutes ago? Implosion.
No.
Did
I
you talk
don't. I
about an
don't.
implosion? I don't know. But
I
that's
don't know.
what can happen because there's so much stress. People are trying to be kind and hospitable, and but yet they are bursting on the inside. And one little thing can just make it all just go to just blow up.
Yep.
Okay? So
Yep.
that's why both parties have to think. We have to know when it's
Yep.
time to go, and they have to know, if they don't know when it's time to go, it's time for me to let them know when it's time to go. But then we have to do it in a compassionate manner. And so that's why when people go visit people, and if they're in trouble, they don't have a place, be honest with people. Be honest with your family. Be honest with your friends. If you're down, they say down on your luck. We don't believe in luck. We believe in blessings from
Hmm.
God. And I don't believe in using the word luck, but anyway, that's in our vocab, in our, what is it, English
Yeah.
language. Well, when people are down and out, if you're down and out, let people know. Let them know, and then they'll know how to treat you, how to help you. But then you have to also realize now that you have to help yourself.
Hmm.
So this comes down to many factors, including the way we were raised. Didn't we just say that?
Yep. Yep.
Or the experiences we have over time. But it always results in the same thing, losing our voice and our ability to speak up for ourselves. And you know that if you backed down and not said some things, and then you're just bursting inside,
Yep.
you know, we all have had that experience.
Hmm.
So when you suppress your true feelings, they don't just go away.
No, they
They
don't.
get buried and buried and buried until there is no more room. And then, boom,
It makes you bitter.
you explode one day.
Hmm.
Your feelings only transform, they never disappear. Now, that right there, your feelings only transform,
Transform.
they never disappear. So it's critical that you learn how and when to speak up for yourself. Once
You
you
make
realize
yourself sick holding it in.
that's so true. That's so
Make
true.
yourself sick.
It's so true. Once you realize how much you're worth, you'll be able to communicate that worth with others. Choose your moment wisely and strike when you have control of the moment.
Yep.
The concrete stuff. After you've managed to get a grasp on all the internals and you found the right moment to act, there are a number of ways you can go about ousting a pesky house guest that just won't leave. So there's always a tactic, there's always a way. There's always a way. Number one, tell them directly that it's time to go. There are plenty of subtle ways you can tell someone it's time to go, but there's nothing better than the good old upfront method. Tell your guests directly but politely, because see, we don't ever know when we might be that guest.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So we
Yep.
have to treat people with love, kindness, and compassion. But we have to be firm. We have to think about ourselves, our mental as well as our physical health, because that stress is no joke.
Nope.
So tell your guests directly but politely that it's time for them to saunter on. You may not want to do it, but your friend will appreciate the directness in the long run, and both of you will know exactly where things stand. Now, it's better for them to tell you than to go out telling somebody else.
Hmm.
And then when their acquaintances and friends and people come over to the house, then they're looking at you
Hmm.
funny
Yep.
and strange. And then you're there, and then they don't know how to act toward you.
Yep.
They don't know how. So you can start by apologizing and telling your friend that you hate to be rude, but make it clear that you can no longer continue on in the current situation. Make sure your guest knows that the decision is not just for yourself, but for them as well. And make sure they know your intention and motivations. Be honest. Be honest. Because you just have to tell people sometimes, like Popeye says, that's all I can stand because I can't
I can't
stand no
stand
more.
no more.
And then you don't want to blow up and then because once you explode on somebody and say all those negative things to them, you can never ever
Take
truly
it back.
fix it.
Yep.
Can never truly fix it. So don't tolerate excuses and don't linger in the conversation. Make your point and make sure your guest knows that it's a firm one. Set a time limit on the conversation and stick to that time limit, ensuring that your guest understands that you still like spending time with them. You just need space of your own. Yeah, people have plans. They have things they need to do, they want to do. But if I'm hanging around, then they don't want to leave me out. Well, they might want to leave me out, but then because they have morals, then they don't want me to feel unwanted and all that. So now they've got to make room and try to include me in their plans. Because people, you have your life, that I have my life. We all have our set of rules and regulations. Clee has her life. Everybody has their, even my children. When I go visit my children, I try not to overstay. And they want me to stay, but no, when I have a time said that I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave. You know, unless I'm
Yep.
sick or something, and then they keep me. And then when I get well enough where I can take care of myself, then I come on to the house by the grace of God. Thank you, Jesus. So we're thankful for our family, aren't we, Better? We are
Yep.
thankful for our family. Mom and Daddy did a magnificent, like somebody, people say they did a bumper job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Number two, set a schedule. What time is it that? I'm not gonna try to look at the clock.
151.
Um, okay, a bit more subtle. This tactic is a good way to get rid of someone that's come to stay with you for a vacation or holiday period. Using a schedule as a series of signposts for your guests is a great way to wind things down and let them know that their time with you is coming to an end. Sketch out an itinerary of the things you are going to do together and make sure to schedule one last hoorah that saves the best for the last and makes it clear that the vacation is over. Number three, this is some good information, isn't it? We could pass this
Mm-hmm.
on to other people. So, number three, the power of body language. Oh my goodness. Never underestimate the power of body language when it comes to doing the conveying the things your words just can't seem to. Okay? I think that's a typo. Doing or conveying the things your words just
Mm-hmm.
can't seem to. While this is definitely a more passive aggressive tactic, using your body language to indicate to your friend that their presence has gotten irritating is one way to let them know that their time is up in your space. You can gently use this kind of body language to indicate your feelings and open up a dialogue about where you're at and how you're feeling about your guests' actions. The best way to do this is by simply being appropriately unavailable or going back to things like work and household chores as if your guests weren't there. Remember, though, this is only a means to opening up a dialogue. You still need to be ready to talk honestly and openly with your friend about how you're feeling when the time comes. Number four, get help from another friend. And so, there are some people that even people that we know. So sometimes it's best to just keep it to yourself if you possibly can, because some people will unexpectedly come in your house, even if you want somebody to leave and you're just saying it to an acquaintance or a friend, and hopefully it's friend because you just don't say it to everybody not supposed to. And then they come to your house and say, "Oh, I thought she was gone. I thought he was gone." You know how people
Mm-hmm.
do sometimes. They just have to stick their nose in it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to stick their nose in it. And so there you
Mm-hmm.
go, feelings hurt and all of that. Even though your feelings are hurt because they stayed over, but still, now you got two sets of feelings hurt. And now you're aggravated at the big mouth. Number four, get help from another friend. Sometimes it's appropriate to enlist the help of a friend when it comes to ousting a pesky housekeeper. Sometimes people might need some help. So while an accomplice might seem a little over the top, having a second person there for moral support can come in handy. They can also help you keep a conversation moving and take some of the heat off of any confrontation that might result from the situation. I remember my brother, this was when I was keeping Jeff, and so I
Mm-hmm.
let him have a visitor, and a man came up, and he visited him. I set them up out on the porch so they could visit. And then, Jeff couldn't go home. He had to stay here, and I had to take care of him like 24/7. And so
Mm-hmm.
he was saying to the man, "I want to go home." And you know how people do. And the man, "When you go home, I said, "Don't say that to him." And he said, "You can go home. You can go." I had to usher that man off the porch. I sent him on his
Mm.
way. I've never had to do that before.
Yeah.
But I said, don't say that to him. Don't encourage him because we
No.
know that he knew that he couldn't go home.
Yeah.
He couldn't go home. And so that would just make it
Harder
difficult
for.
for me. Uh-huh. Yeah. And you can go home. Yeah, you can go home. So anyway, I had to usher him off the porch. Number 5, offer to gather up their things for them. The part of any good hosting experience and making sure that your guests make it to the door comfortably. Okay. Let your friend know that you're doing your duty and you want them to leave by offering to gather up their things and move them to the door. On the day of their departure, you can make the offer and ask them all kinds of things about their departure that makes you look interested. If it's come down to a party guest, offer them one last drink or one last piece of whatever dessert you're serving. This indicates that the evening is over and they won't be welcome once they finish whatever you've offered. Mine. Number 6. What time is it? Excuse me.
We've been on 57 minutes.
Set some rules.
Yeah,
We
three
can get
minutes.
lost in all our hang-ups that center around hosting and hospitality, but it's important to remember that your space is sacred. It's also important to remember that your time in that space alone is sacred too. Set ground rules for your space and make it clear to your guests and everyone else that might find themselves in your space that you won't allow those rules to be violated out of respect for yourself and for your needs. Express your expectations clearly and in no uncertain terms, and you'll find you can avoid most of the unpleasant confrontations. It all comes back to knowing your boundaries and having enough respect for yourself to stick to them. It also comes back to knowing how and when to speak up for yourself, though, and knowing the value of what your peace of mind is worth. Your peace of mind is worth everything for you to function. And
Yep.
then there are people that have the audacity, well, ain't nobody but him in that house by himself. They can let me stay. Ain't nobody but her in that house by herself, that big old house, and they don't want nobody in there. That's your house. That's your space that you've been blessed with. And some people think you're obligated. They think that. Number 7, let them know the importance of me time. A delicately subtle way to let guests know you won't tolerate stragglers is to stress the importance of your me time and your space from the outset of their visit. No matter how long your guests are staying, let them know that you like to relax when you're alone in your home and let them know when you're planning on relaxing during their stay. Schedule your me time just like you normally would and let your guests know when this will be, making it clear that you'll suffer no interruptions. You should also make it clear what portions of your home are your space and what portions are their space, making it clear where they are allowed to wander when you're home and not home. Avoid confusion and be upfront about what you need from your space and your downtime. You'll be grateful for it, and so will your guests. And there's this show. Do you watch this show? So Help Me, Todd.
No, I
He's,
catch it sometimes, but it's not one of them that I watch.
he's living in
But
his sister's.
I've caught a couple of shows of it.
He's living in his sister's garage. And
Oh, is
so
that where he lives?
she went to Hawaii. And so she came to the garage and woke him up and said, "Now we're going to Maui. I think it's, yeah, for 5 days. Don't go in the house. He said, what am I going to do to shower? Use the hose or something? She said, please don't go in the house. So, anyway, so she didn't want him in the house. Okay, now number seven, your me time. I talked about your me time. So you should also make it clear that portions of your home, of your space, and portions of their space. I said that. Excuse me. I think I'm going to have to quit right here. Is it 2 o'clock? It's number
It's
eight.
yeah, it's two
Give
o'clock.
them something to do. Nothing will run someone off like giving them chores to do. If you find someone staying past their welcome after a party or a vacation, let them know they're expected to start pitching in and watch how quickly they run. Asking someone to pick up after themselves is another one of those more subtle ways to run someone off. It's also one of the less confrontational ways to discourage someone from overstaying their welcome. Part of the reason our friends and family take advantage of our charity is because of the level of comfort we offer them. Striving to be good hosts, we go above guests, often taking care of them more like a mother than a friend. And that I've never come to your house and put you out, have a you've
No,
never done it to me either. We've always
no.
respected each other and we come and we stay. And then when it's time to go, we go. You
Yeah,
know, uh-huh. So part of the reason our friends that take advantage of our charities is because of the level of comfort we offer them. Discouraging that kind of behavior from your friend means discouraging that kind of behavior in yourself. Rather than making it more comfortable for someone that's taking advantage of you, make it equal instead. Offer them some chores to do and make them pay their way if they're going to stay. Because we would never go and stay on anybody anyway without contributing, if we have to stay a
yeah,
little while. And then even if we would be between jobs or whatever, we've all
yeah,
helped each other out. Then a certain time, and then after that, it's time to start
yeah,
helping out. Putting it all together. Everyone handles their guests differently, but we all get annoyed when someone overstays their welcome. Whether it's the little guy that just lingers near your desk after the office Christmas party, or that cousin that just won't get off your couch. Figuring out how to politely ask someone to leave is a tricky thing. By learning how to respect ourselves and set our boundaries, we can make it easier to deal with the friends and family that take advantage of our time, space, and charity. Whether you take the direct approach of packing up their things or the subtle approach of giving them chores to do, making it clear that your guest needs to go is a skill that takes grit and determination. Don't let your guests overstay their welcome. Recognize your needs and stand up for them no matter what. Your space and your need for peace in it is valid. Kick the clingers to the curb and take your space back. One brave little stand at a time. Oh, I'm through now. Is it 2 o'clock, Tunnel?
204.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening to me. But I remember, like I said, in one time, this person, somebody was staying on the person, and they had a child, and they were just doing all. I mean, were taking care of the children, like the person was staying with had a child, plus the person had to go to work, and the person had a child too. And so leave since you the person was staying there, that meant that the other person's child didn't have to go to daycare because you were going to be the other person was going to be at the house
Yep.
with their child. So just leave your child there with them, thinking they're going to take care of your child
Wow.
and theirs. Then the person would come home from work, and the person would not have taken care of the children, not fed them like they should have been fed and everything. So
Wow.
the mother of the person that the person was staying with packed the guests up and the child and caught them a ride, the first thing smoking, back to where they came from.
Wow.
Surely did. So sometimes you have to do that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to pack them up and move them out.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, this is great information for me. I enjoyed learning
Yep.
this,
Yep.
and then and it's just wonderful. So thank you, everybody. Then we have some words
Thank.
to close out.
No, I mean everything was wonderful today. I enjoyed everything.
Me too. I have enjoyed it too. I'm just
Very informative.
Oh yes, it is, and that's what I really, really enjoy. I'm trying to get back to our screen here. I really enjoy it. So thank you, everybody. I know we went over just a little bit, but I believe it's worth it. So now, if you have someone that comes and they don't want to leave, now you have all this that you can use. You can go back and watch this, and please share this show. I love you, baby sister.
I love you too. Be
And
careful
I
what you
still have
wish
your
for.
birthday cake up in the cabinet and your icing. So maybe when you come through, I probably
Okay.
won't have it cooked in, but I'll probably cook it and take it to you.
Okay.
Okay, but I do have it. Yes, I do. All right, I love
Okay.
you so much. Everybody, we love you. That I
We love
enjoyed
y'all.
this so much today. And we'll talk later, okay?
Okay.
Love you.
Bye bye.
Okay, everybody, enjoy your day. Let me do our outro here. Let me see. Let me get it here. Hadn't done it in a while. I think I think this is it. Okay. Oh God, I'm calling on you. Oh God, I'm enlisting the saints to pray. Can you hear me? Can you feel me?